Hello, ladies and gents. Welcome to episode 193 of the FAB and Fearless Business Booster Shot Show. My name is Yinka. I'm a business strategist, a coach, a speaker, and an author, and I support women to create wealth in and through their businesses by helping them to focus on what matters most for the business, which is cash flow and strategy, and what matters most for the business owner, which is mindset and habits. It is my pleasure and privilege to welcome you to this 193rd episode of the show, where each week at 1:30 p.m. UK time on a Wednesday, I come to you with a short, sharp shot to boost both you and your business with one powerful truth and one actionable tip. So if you can see and hear me over on my LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube socials, come into the chat, jump in, come and say hello, and let us get this party started. Hello, fabulous Jackie Raymond. Thank you so much for letting me know that you can see and hear me live over on the tube. So great to have you here. Welcome into the space. Thank you also for letting me know. Hey, Jackie, welcome to the LinkedIn version of this fabulous live stream. It's great to be here with you. So excited to share today's insight with you. Welcome. We are going to be talking about why profitable businesses go bust. And I'm excited to talk about this today because it is highly relevant. It's something that happens on the basis more than we would like it to happen. And therefore, there is definitely a level of confusion about the nature of profit and the nature of a business going bust. I'm excited to share more on this today. But ahead of that, I'd love to know how you are doing today. So please feel free, come into the chat on a scale of 1 to 10. How are you doing? Hey, Gina, it is so lovely to have you here. Thank you so much for joining me over on LinkedIn. It's great to see you. I'm excited to have you in the space. We are about to get going on today's topic of why profitable businesses go bust. But before we do, let me know, scale of 1 to 10, how are you doing today? 1 is Yinka. Things be thingsing. Things could not be any worse. Number 10 is, Yinka, I am awesome and things could not be any better. Let me know how you are feeling on a scale of 1 to 10 today. I am a solid 8.5 today and I am feeling great. I'm so excited to get to spend time with some of my favorite people later on at the Mighty Mixer. And I'm really looking forward to getting to see so many of those ladies. So I'm excited for that. So yeah, probably actually a 9, a good solid 9. How are you doing today, ladies and gents? Let me know. That's the first question. And my second question is, who do you know? Who do you know that does incredible work in the world, that does beautiful things for amazing impact and could really benefit from understanding a bit more about why profitable businesses go bust? Tag them into the comments of wherever you are watching this show. If they are online right now, then they will absolutely get the chance to come in and enjoy the session with us live. And if not, they get to join us on Team #replay. Okay, let's talk about this. So, Gina said, hilarious. I was about to say a solid 8.52. Well, clearly we are twinning today. And I actually upticked mine to 9, but I love that for you, awesome lady. Thank you for sharing that, Gina. I appreciate you. Who do you think needs to come in and listen along to this today? Tag them in the comments. This will be available on my profile pretty much as soon as it's done. And I definitely want to make sure that as many people hear this as possible. Thank you, Jackie. I'm so glad that you are 8 out of 10 today. And yes, to Vicky coming and having the opportunity to hear this. Okay. So the reason why I want to talk about this today is because profit is one of the most worshipped concepts in business. We have some incredible insights around the importance of profit. We have an entire movement focused on profit first. And I'm not mad. I'm not mad at anybody's movement. Do your movement, do your thing. It's so important. Profit is what everybody is obsessed with. It is what businesses are told they need to focus on. It is what every business claims they want to be. And it's something that most people have a limited understanding of. Therefore, businesses who are claiming and showing profit are going bust. And I want to talk about it because the stats of business failure continue to be way too high. As well, it is approximately between 85 and 90% of businesses go out of business in 5 years or less. Imagine literally, we are coming into 6 years since lockdown for us in the UK. 23rd of March is the day, Monday, 23rd of March is the day that we went into the UK lockdown back in 2020. And I can tell you for free that there are many businesses that were started in lockdown that are already gone. Let me know if you know that too. If you know someone who started a lockdown based business and that business is no longer in business. So you will see that as much as it's easy to talk about, 5 years and businesses are gone in abstract, it's very different when it is a real life situation. Because every business represents somebody's hopes, somebody's dreams. Nobody starts a business to go out of business. Nobody starts a business with the intention of it not being successful. And so that's a real world emotion and real world labor that is going down the drain. And so going bust is never ever an exciting or even a pleasurable prospect. And yet it happens more often than not. And you know what that means? And the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because if 90% of businesses or thereabouts go out of business in 5 years or less, that means most of the things that businesses that are doing right now are not going to stop them going out of business. Jump in the chat, write that down for me if you are picking up what I'm putting down. We're talking about it in abstract, but I want to bring it into real life. Most of what you see businesses doing right now is they are doing things that are taking themselves out of business, which is wild to think about and challenging to really get your head around, but that's the truth. Most businesses are going out of business as you are seeing them right now. And that's incredibly sad, especially given how many businesses are started to do good in the world, to help people's families, to change people's lives, all of those things. Most of what you see people doing is taking them out of business. So let's talk about profit, because profit, as I said, is the obsession of the business world. Now, profit is, by all accounts, it is the difference between the revenue that comes in, or the revenue from a sale, and the expenses from the sale, or the revenue of a business and the expenses from a business. Profit is calculated on the basis of what it is that you are focusing on. So if you are talking about the profitability of a business, you will look at all the money that came in, or all the revenue that came in, and all the revenue that went, all the expenses that went out. If you're talking about it in relation to an individual transaction, then you will look at all the revenue as it relates to that specific sale, and all of the expenses as it relates to that specific sale. And so the first thing I want to get really clear about is profit is equal to revenue minus expenses. Hey, LinkedIn user, I'm so glad that you are here. It tells me that you are either Sonia or Sharon. Let me just double check really quickly to check who I am saying a howdy to. I am very, very glad to have you here with me. And I'm excited to share this. Oh, it is Jen. It is neither Sonia nor Sharon. I wonder why LinkedIn does this. It's so good to have you here, Jen. Thank you so much for joining today. So we're talking about profit, which is revenue minus expenses. And if profit is revenue minus expenses, then what that tells us is that when profit is positive, that means that you are getting more revenue than expenses. And when profit is negative, you are having more expenses than revenue. But here's the thing, and here's the wild thing about profit. Profit is an accounting calculation. And if you take nothing else away from what I am saying to you today, please take this. Profit is an accounting it's a calculation. You can't see profit in a bank account in the way that you think. It shows up in at the end of everything, but if you looked in at somebody's bank account at any given point in time, you won't be able to see profit in the way that you think. You actually can only see profit in P&Ls, in spreadsheets. You don't see it in bank accounts, you see it in accounting software. And this is part of the thing that is often overlooked when it comes to the actual health of a business. Because the one powerful truth I want you to understand is that the reason why profitable businesses go bust is because it's not profits that keeps a business in business. It is not profit. You can be profitable on paper and still run out of cash, because it is cash that keeps a business in business. Now, you might be listening to what I'm saying and saying, Yinka, what are you talking about? If you've got profit in your business, how is it that you can have no money? And this is where the important insight around what profit is and how it works comes into play. Because revenue is the amount of cash that you get from a sale. So let's say I sell, one of the biggest packages in my business. Let's say I sell that and I sell that for £120,000. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. 120K, amazing. Now the revenue from that particular sale is 120K, but if I've agreed with my client that they are going to pay me 10K per month for 12 months, then the revenue and the cash do not match until month 12. On month 8, they would only have paid me £80,000. In month 9, they would have only paid me £90,000. In month 1, they would have only paid me £10,000. So what we can see is that in month 1, the revenue from the sale, the revenue or the value of the sale is 120,000, but the cash is 10. And so if your expenses are higher than 10, you are going to be in loss. You are going to be in loss. That bank account is going to be in a minus. And this is part of how so many businesses get themselves caught up in challenging scenarios, even though they're showing profit on paper. Because if the revenue and the cash don't match, you find yourself in a situation where it looks great on paper and you're profitable on paper and you can't find that cash in the bank. Ladies and gents, let me know if you are picking up what I am putting down here. Profit is not the same as cash. You cannot see profit in the bank until the fully realized sale is complete. Let me know, because I know I'm using and speaking from financial terms here, so I want to make sure that I'm being crystal clear. But until all the cash comes in, the revenue and the cash don't match. And if your expenses are going out like clockwork all the time, if your expenses are front loaded and your payment is back loaded, you've got yourself a problem, even though it seems like a profitable transaction. Can you see, ladies and gents, why the concept of profit is not the same as the concept of cash? You can have a highly profitable transaction that leaves you cash strapped and out of business before you've even had the chance to get all your money. Cash is the air of your business. That's not going to go away just because someone made you a big promise of some big cash later on. And so it is so important that we understand these ideas, the concept of profit, which is visible in accounting software, on Excel spreadsheets, but isn't visible until the fullness of time of the specific period in question. You may not see that cash for ages. And if there's any defaults, if there's any delays, if there's any problems, you may not see that cash at all. Ladies and gents, let me know that you are picking up what I'm putting down here, because so many organizations, so many experts, they want to bamboozle you with the idea of profit. Oh, be in profit. Make sure that you're profitable. And do not hear what I am not saying. I'm not asking you to not be profitable. I am simply shedding light on the fact that being profitable isn't enough to keep you in business, especially if there is a mismatch between the promised revenue and the actual cash. Now I'm just going to check because no one has said anything in the last 6 minutes. And that could be because the comments are frozen, or that could be because you're all just stunned to silence. I doubt that very much. Let me just double check that the comments are not coming through. This happens over and over again. There are so many of our favorite brands across the world that looked profitable, that looked like everything was cool until they ran out of cash, because no amount of paper profit can save you when you need cash in the bank. That paper profit is promises. And unfortunately, my supermarket does not accept promises as legal tender. And so it is so important for us, ladies and gents, to understand that profit is accounting and it is incredibly important, but it doesn't do what we have been taught it does as it relates to keeping you in business. The only thing that keeps you in business is cash. Cash is the air of your business. That doesn't go away. No matter how big you are, no matter how old your business is, no matter how much people love the products. Every story of a business going out of business is a business that's running out of cash, profitable or not, branded or not, award winning or not. It's not going away just because there's profits on paper. And so, my one actionable tip for you today is to ask yourself, are you profitable? Are you profitable on paper? Because if you are, that's great. And that is something to be celebrated. However, does that correspond to what's happening in your bank account? And do you know how to unravel the two? Do you know how to make sense of what it is that you are, or what it is that you are being given in order to create the opportunity of having a business that makes sense? I love what Charlie has said here. Most businesses are living on cash flow, but that doesn't mean they are profitable. 100%. 100%. But what I would also say is many businesses are profitable on paper, and that doesn't mean they have the cash in the bank to survive. The fact is that it is the cash in the bank that keeps you afloat. And so you definitely want to make sure that you have the financial rigor to ensure that you are profitable, but also to ensure that you have the cash in the bank to ensure that your business is a going concern. You definitely do not want to be running at a loss. Definitely not. And that's the thing. The opposite of profit is loss. So you definitely don't want to be running at a loss. You will also run out of business. You'll also run yourself out of business. However, you can be not profitable and still in business, and you can be highly profitable and go bust. And so what we want to make sure that we are doing is ensuring that we have businesses that don't go bust. And bust is a function of cash flow, not a function of profit, not only a function of profit. Thank you so much, Charlie. Really powerful insight there. Appreciate you. And so, yeah, it's about making sure that you have a really clear understanding of what is going on the cash flow front. It is that cash flow that keeps A business in business. Hi, Tayo. Lovely to have you here. Thank you for your comment here. Tayo said cash flow keeps a business in business, not profits. We need to understand costs, revenues, payment installments, or pay in full. Until full payment is in cash, is in the bank, the profit doesn't match the cash. Absolutely that. Revenue and that cash will not match until all that cash is in. And so revenue and cash and costs have to align for a healthy business. Front-loaded costs with backloaded revenue payments means that cash is not in the bank for expenses. Yes, absolutely that. Thank you so much for sharing that, Tile. That is a really powerful summary. So, ladies and gents, I hope this has been helpful because I can imagine how frustrating it is to hear when your favorite brand and your biggest, your favorite band, your biggest companies keep, filing for chapter, whatever, 13 of 11, I think. Chapter 11 in the US, or going bankrupt and or going into liquidation in the UK, and people are like, oh, these are our favorite bands, these are things that we love, these are products that we really believe in. Absolutely, so important. But the reality of business is cash flow. That's never going away. And so it is so important that we recognize that we don't confuse terms: revenue, cash, income, all of those things. So important to make sure that we understand what's going on with our numbers, and we're able to keep our business in business and ensure that it remains a going concern. Cash is the air of your business, ladies and gents. That is not going away. That's not going away. I'm going to keep banging that drum because cash flow gets to be that pathway to wealth that you want to create. And that wealth that you want to create is what leaves you rich and rested. So, ladies and gents, thank you so much for joining me today. That is everything that I wanted to share. I'm just going to check one more time to make sure that there are no questions that I am not answering. If anyone has any questions, drop them in the chat. I will refresh a few more times just to make sure that if there are any questions out there, I can answer them as I am right here. Tyle, again, thank you for your comment here. Profit is accounting. The only thing that keeps you in business is cash. Yes. Do you have paper profit or cash in the bank profit? That's the thing. You can have paper profit as soon as those promises are made, but cash in the bank is where it's actually at. You need to have that cash access to keep that business in business. And so, am I saying don't be profitable? Of course not. Of course not. Yinka did not say that. What Yinka said was that we want to make sure that you have the cash that you need in order to stay in business. So, ladies and gents, that's me for the day. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you, Jackie. So great to have you here. Yeah, my call to action. If you want to get this sorted, I spend a lot of time talking about cash. Cash is one of the pillars of the work that I do, and is the pillar that keeps your business in business. If that's something that you want to get sorted, then please drop me the word cash. I'm really happy to share some of the support opportunities that I have, all the way from DIY offerings that you can do yourself, and many people have and made the cash that they want, all the way through to my programs, the Cash Flow Accelerator, Cash Flow and Wealth Academy, and then some of the work that I do one-to-one for those who are multi-six and seven-figure and eight-figure business owners. So if you want to find out more about my work, drop me the word cash. But in the meantime, ladies and gents, please, let's get really clear about what the cash is doing, what profit means, and what it doesn't mean. Because profit does not mean that you have the cash you need to stay in business. A profitable business can absolutely still go bust if that cash is not realized at the right time. Cash flow is as much a function of time as it is a function of money. And so, ladies and gents, take care. Have a beautiful rest of your day. I will see you in the spaces. Take care. Have a good one. I'll see you.